Welcome KSLU law students. Today's explainer is a strict exam-oriented academic breakdown, and it's designed specifically to help you write the perfect answer script on Indian federalism. We're going to walk through exactly how to structure your thoughts, what to emphasize, and how to present your legal knowledge to thoroughly satisfy the evaluator. Right, let's dive straight in.
Question 1. Discuss the federal characteristics of the Indian Constitution. Is it quasi-federal? Explain distribution of legislative powers. Now, listen carefully. This is a massive 16-mark prompt that you're going to frequently encounter in your constitutional law I paper. And to conquer a 16-mark question, you absolutely cannot just write a continuous rambling essay. It demands a highly methodical, multi-part answer. You must dissect the prompt into its three exact components: federal characteristics, the quasi-federal debate, and legislative distribution.
Here is our agenda for the session. 1. Introduction to Indian federalism. 2. Core federal characteristics. 3. Unitary non-federal features. 4. The quasi-federal verdict. 5. Legislative powers distribution. And 6. Final exam conclusion. Students, you must present this exact agenda as a mandatory synopsis, explicitly drawn up on the very first page of your answer booklet. By writing this synopsis out before you even begin your answer, you immediately showcase your structural clarity to the examiner. It proves, without a doubt, that you know exactly where your legal argument is going.
Section 1. Introduction to Indian Federalism. The Constitution of India is neither purely federal nor purely unitary. It incorporates federal features with a strong center, making it a quasi-federal or federal with unitary bias system. Laying down this dual nature premise in your introduction right off the bat completely secures your foundational marks. Do not start your exam by rambling about the history of the Constitution. Hit the examiner immediately with this exact legal paradox. We are a hybrid system.
Section 2. Core federal characteristics.
1. Written and supreme constitution. The center and states derive powers from it. 2. Division of powers under the 7th schedule. 3. Supremacy of the Constitution. 4. Independent judiciary. 5. Rigid constitution, as Article 368 requires state ratification. 6. Bicameral legislature. Now, what's genuinely fascinating about the structure is how methodically it proves our federal nature. Think of it like a strict set of rules for a game. A written constitution means the rules are permanently set. Division of powers under the 7th schedule ensures the states have their own defined sandbox to play in. Supremacy means absolutely no government can step outside those bounds, and independent judiciary referees any boundary disputes. A rigid constitution means the center simply can't unilaterally change the rules without state ratification under Article 368, and a bicameral legislature gives states a powerful voice in the Rajya Sabha. In your exam, use unmerged bullet points exactly like the ones I just read out to make your points distinct and visually uncluttered.
S.R. Bommai v. Union of India. The Supreme Court held that federalism is part of the basic structure. The center cannot arbitrarily interfere with states. Students, pause here. You must provide a deep breakdown of this case. The brief background is that in the late 80s and early 90s, the central government was frequently misusing Article 356, that's President's Rule, to casually dismiss rival state governments. So the Supreme Court stepped in. The final ratio decidendi here was absolutely monumental. The court declared that federalism is a fundamental part of the basic structure doctrine. And the relevance? It means even an absolute majority in Parliament cannot amend the Constitution to destroy state autonomy. The center's power to interfere is strictly conditional. It's not arbitrary. Here's a crucial exam tip. When you write this on your exam sheet, draw a prominent box around the words S.R. Bommai v. Union of India. You want to literally force the evaluator to see it.
Section 3. Unitary non-federal features.
1. Strong center, since the Union list is larger. 2. Single constitution. 3. Single citizenship. 4. Emergency provisions under Articles 352, 356, and 360. 5. Appointment of governors by the center. 6. Integrated judiciary. You must comprehensively elaborate on how these specific elements centralize power. Unlike the USA, where states have their own distinct constitutions and citizenship, India has one single constitution and one single citizenship for everyone. The center appoints the governors, which essentially creates a direct line of central oversight right into the state's executive branch. Most importantly, I demand that you explicitly quote Articles 352, 356, and 360 in your scripts. These emergency provisions are the ultimate trump card. They allow the Union government to completely override state autonomy whenever the nation's security or financial stability is threatened.
This creates a rather brilliant duality. In normal times, the nation operates with a clear federal structure.
versus special situations and emergencies, where the system completely transforms into a unitary model. By comparing this dual operation side by side in your answer, you show the evaluator that you deeply understand the dynamic, living nature of our Constitution. And naturally, contrasting these paradigms leads perfectly into answering the second part of your 16-mark prompt.
Section 4. The Quasi-Federal Verdict.
A quasi-federal state is a system that is not truly federal, combining a federal structure in normal times with unitary features in special situations, creating a strong centralizing tendency. Write this exact definition down. Seriously, this phrasing is the precise terminology the KSLU evaluator will be vigorously hunting for. It proves you understand that our Constitution isn't some failure of federalism, but rather a deliberate, pragmatic design.
State of West Bengal v. Union of India. The Indian Constitution is not truly federal, but quasi-federal with a strong centralizing tendency. Here's your deep dive into this mandatory case law. The background of this 1962 case involved Parliament passing the Coal-Bearing Areas Act to acquire land in West Bengal, while the state of West Bengal heavily objected, arguing that as a sovereign state in a federal setup, the center couldn't just acquire its sovereign property. The Supreme Court's ratio decidendi completely struck down West Bengal's argument. The court held that unlike the USA, Indian states simply do not possess absolute sovereignty. The Constitution is quasi-federal, and the Union has overriding powers to acquire state property for national interest. The absolute relevance here is that this specific case officially coined and validated the quasi-federal nature of India in our constitutional jurisprudence. Strictly underline this citation, State of West Bengal v. Union of India, to capture your maximum marks.
Section 5. Legislative Powers Distribution.
The 7th Schedule maps out 3 distinct lists. The Union list covers defense, foreign affairs, banking, and currency. The state list covers police, public order, public health, and agriculture. The concurrent list covers education, forests, marriage, and criminal law. I heavily advise you to reproduce this exact tabular format in your actual answer scripts. It visually breaks up the dense text and immediately shows total mastery of the subject. Also, be sure to explain to the examiner that under Article 254, if there is ever a clash or conflict between a central law and a state law regarding a subject on the concurrent list, the central law prevails.
Residuary powers to the center, Article 248. Parliament holds power over the state list in specific cases, national interest under Article 249, emergency under Article 250, consent of states under Article 252, and international obligations under Article 253. Notice how I am reading out every single article without skipping or condensing them? You must do exactly the same in the exam. Drilling into these numerical citations is non-negotiable. If you just write, Parliament can legislate on state matters during an emergency without actually writing Article 250, you're going to lose marks. The law is precision, students. Show your precision.
Section 6. Final Exam Conclusion. Write your final paragraph exactly like this. The Indian Constitution is a unique quasi-federal state. It ensures state autonomy via power distribution, but equips the center with overriding authority for unity and integrity. This conclusion perfectly resolves the examiner's prompt. You see, it doesn't just restate the facts, it explains the why. Why was the Constitution drafted this way? It leaves the evaluator with a really provocative thought. Can a nation of such immense, sweeping diversity survive under a rigid, pure federalism? Or is this unique, flexible, quasi-federal balance the very reason India sustains itself as the world's largest democracy? Think about that as you prepare. Structure your answers, quote your articles, box your case laws, and you are going to secure top marks. Keep studying hard, and I will see you in our next explainer.